Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome back to Threeflings, the only show on Twitch. You remember that, right? And so here we are with our three non-horned tiefling players. And tonight we will be playing Dracula Owes You Money by Dusty Hill. Because why just beat up one Dracula wannabe in an episode? Now we have another Dracula wannabe that needs beaten up, and we're going to be playing in a new system. Since this month is all about indie games, I think this month we're basically playing all Lasers and Feelings and Honey Heist hacks. But I'm especially looking forward to this one. Content warnings are blood and undeath. If either of those quick you out, we will see you next week, where we will have lesbians and werewolves. So, before we get started, let's introduce our characters. Let's start with Draz. Who is your character going to be, and how are they looking forward to confronting Dracula?
Alright, I'm Draz. I'm playing Nix Wrong, the lawyer who is also a vampire and the rogue of the group. He is, he's taken Dracula on as a client before, got Dracula off scot-free, but Dracula didn't pay up. So now, he's out to get, his money back.
Oh, Dracula owes lawyer fees.
Yeah.
Not good. Christina, introduce your character, and how do they owe Dracula money? Or how does Dracula owe them money? Sorry.
I was about to say, zero. Hi, I'm Christina.
I'm already getting in character. What? I don't owe you anything.
I'm gonna be playing a teenager, Sarah, who is an engineer but does happen to be working at a fast food restaurant. We'll call it the Greasy Spoon. And Dracula ran out on his bill last week. And absolutely not. That doesn't fly. Not in my Greasy Spoon.
Oh no. Running out on a bill on a minimum wage worker, that's embarrassing.
And a minor at that.
Oh.
You neurodivergent and a minor, how dare he?
Yeah, exactly.
Triple embarrassing. Dracula's turning out to be a really, really awful dude already. Okay.
Yeah, actually this game is not canceling Dracula.
Oh, we'll see. Ink. Who's your character, and how does Dracula owe them money?
Hello, I am playing, her name is Dawn Turner. She is a monster hunter, smooth talker, and a school nurse. Because I can't give you actual medicine, but I can give you ice packs. Congratulations. I am imagining, the money is probably something that comes from the monster hunting side, like the freelance worker side. Hey, I don't like this. Get rid of them. Sure. And sent the invoice and never got the payment. So here we are.
Wow,
were you a former?
Wait.
Were you a former minion and didn't have union?
Banana.
Oh, not Def
minions.
Then. Not Def Jesus.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you all have very legitimate beefs. How do you all meet? Would you like to meet, like, at a bar, drowning your sorrows?
We have a teenager.
He is a teenager.
I have a fake ID. Come on.
Fake ID. I mean, you're a monster hunter. You're probably pretty savvy.
That's right.
Is this a bar where monsters and monster hunters kind of like mingle? Because one of you's a vampire, one of you's a monster hunter. Maybe it's not a bar, but maybe more like a pub.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Something a little bit cozier and actually serves food.
See, now I'm just thinking of that bar in The Wolf Among Us, where it's just like the whole bar where it's just like fantasy creatures that just sit at the bar, and some of them are monstery and some of them are not. And it just looks like a normal bar.
Like that. Like, that's fun.
Okay, so sort of family-friendly pub atmosphere. I'm thinking that the lawyer probably knows the monster hunter.
Yeah, like I know some weird little girls, and they just appear near me. I know.
Oh.
I don't question it anymore.
I have to admit, like, things like, are you in like a late night fast food place where you probably see some really weird shit go down at like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning?
I mean, we could be at Sarah's place.
My mind was like, oh, it's a Waffle House.
Well, it is now. The Greasy Spoon is actually just a Waffle House. I just caught a chair.
Oh, you two are drowning your sorrows in junk food at the Greasy Spoon.
Yeah.
It do be like that.
It really do. You don't think it do, but it really do.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'll be your server today. What can I get you? The specials today are the hash browns.
Specials plural? I'm sorry, you just said specials and then you listed one thing.
Hash browns are also plural.
Okay, so we now have a meeting place for planning to start to take place, and all of you are there in the same vicinity. Just to remind everyone, you have 2 skills. You have blood and tears. Right now, they both are starting at 3. It's like that can change as the game progresses, but all you really need to know is that blood is used when you take control of the situation physically or in your own hands, such as fighting, breaking things, and tears is used when something emotionally or metaphysically, such as charming, negotiations, distractions, can be used for non-harming magic. So, while no rolls need to take place in this beginning stages, you could possibly use rolls to help you succeed in getting things or maneuvering yourself into position for your plan. I'm going to say that both the lawyer and former minion probably know the most about Dracula's lair at this point. You know that it's an ancient, hidden library that's that's underground and outside of town. So you need to have an enter and exit strategy.
Ooh. You said like an ancient hidden library underground, and I'm thinking of the library in Avatar, like guarded by the giant owl that's like buried in the sand. And I'm like,
yes.
Think
a lot like sand.
Avatar, and I had to be like, wait.
The blue people or the bender people, yeah.
Especially when Way of Water, dropped so recently.
Yep. Which also doesn't help the phrase, is it the element people or the blue people?
Oh god.
Okay.
Well, are you gonna order or are you just gonna sit there?
Whose table are you at? Are you at... Are we sitting together? That's the question. I don't think we established that.
That is a good...
I feel like we're sitting together because we've known each other from, past stuff. And...
This is probably around midnight. I imagine these are your only 2 customers at the Greasy Spoon. So if you wanted to take a 15 and just, sit and chill, especially if you hear their conversation and hear them talking about how much Dracula sucks, and how they're gonna get revenge, or whatever.
Yeah, no. Anyone say something about Dracula, I'd be like, that guy's...
Oh, absolutely. Like, he got arrested recently, went to court. I was his defense attorney. I helped, him get off scot-free. And what does he do to repay me? He just doesn't give, like, my invoice just bounces.
Why would a vampire necessarily go to court? Isn't that something you could kind of just, like, get out of?
Oh, it's vampire court. The rules are different.
Okay.
You see, like,
then
in
again,
vampire court, every trial can only last 3 days.
Yep. I was gonna say, then again, I also do just eliminate monsters and no one ever bothers me legally, so that is probably a different set of rules.
Yeah. Like, our rules for vampire conflicts are like, about like vampires only. They're not like related to conflicts with other creatures or, hunters and stuff. It's because we live in a society.
Being an adult sounds like really sucky.
There's a lot of things that are not super great about it. Like, when people owe you money, but other than that, like, it's not bad. Like, looking
Enjoy your youth, kid.
Looking at Nyx like, help me not make this seem bad.
Just gonna wipe my greasy hands off on my apron. Yeah, it's been stellar so far. Look, this guy walked out on his bill. I still have it. And she pulls out like a crumpled diner receipt. He sat here all night. He ordered a bunch of pie. Took like one bite of each slice and was like, I do not like human food. Then why did you order it, weirdo? I don't get it. And then like complained. Was in the bathroom for like an hour and then he left.
Okay,
I paid like $40.
I'm going to suggest something because I think it's funny. What if instead of just one receipt, you have a stack of receipts because he's a repeat offender?
Love it. Yes.
He has a receipt for every pie. He ordered them separately.
He wants to split the check 7 ways.
The worst.
Oh, it's worse too, because you're like, he used the bathroom and then he left, so he took a shit and then left and didn't pay.
And then it's just
terrible.
like, wait a minute, he's a vampire. Does he even need to use the restroom? Did he just use that as an excuse?
I mean, the window was open.
Yeah, he just food. That still passes through his system.
He just turned into a bat and flew out the window and just didn't even.
Yeah.
Oh, I am loving this so much right now.
So, how are we gonna stick it to this nerd?
I mean, I was just planning on, taking a long, sharpened piece of wood and, literally sticking it to him, but I'm also willing to hear other ideas.
Yeah, I was thinking of going with the direct approach too. I do know some information about where he lives because, in Vampire Court, if you're a defense attorney, you also have to do some detective work and take some evidence and stuff. For other cultures, that might seem weird that that's part of the defense attorney job description, but for us it's very much that. So I've found some information from snooping around.
Also, his address probably was that invoice that bounced.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, also that, yeah.
He seems like the kind of person that if you ask him, for his address, he does the shit where he looks like he's writing down an actual address, and then you look down and it says, I don't know,
Your mom.
House Place on Suck My Dick Road. Shit like that.
Yeah, Nyx pulls out an invoice, and then there makes a da-da sound as it's registered in the corner. There's no
Wow, the sound effects are unexpected.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
just
they
kind
just
of
happen.
follows Nyx around, I guess.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It happens with vampire lawyers.
Yeah. It's vampire lawyer stuff.
Just imagining Nyx with like a tiny like little stream deck like in their jacket, like hitting buttons.
That means that when we find Dracula cornered players.
Copyright! Sega, no!
So, you know where Dracula lives, the Count. You know that he has minions, because the
Banana.
former minion would have information on that. However, you also know that a lot of those minions are very disgruntled, because they have no union, they feel like they're stuck. You could probably play on that if you come across them. And you also know that while you don't know all of them, you know there are secret routes in and out of
The in and
Dracula's
out.
lair. So you probably want to quickly find Dracula once you enter, because otherwise he could escape. Or you could try blocking exits that you know about.
Try blocking him on Twitter. See if that helps.
But you could miss one.
I'm thinking
would you be satisfied with possibly ransacking the lair for loot and not getting the ultimate revenge?
See, I'm just thinking of the Bat Cave in the Harley Quinn animated series, where she's like, "What is this? Why is this down?" I can imagine that, at least from my perspective, Dawn is probably trying to set up, like, UV, like, day lamps and shit, like, on a trigger, so if he opens the door to try to leave, it just does, like, this shit to him. You know?
She's, like, setting up a very funny Chekhov's gun of accidentally blinding Nyx's wife.
Yeah, again, the Carly gets blinded meme insert. Yeah, no, it's a thing where it's like, oh, this could really work out, or this is just a complete waste of my time, and I'm not interested in finding out which one is which right now.
As you're talking, now you hear a sizzle as some new fries are dropped down into the oil, and Sarah's gonna start like chopping garlic and making garlic parmesan fries, heavy on the garlic.
Ooh, yum.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this. This is choose your weapon moment. Garlic fries. Are you gonna try to like sneakily feed him garlic fries, or are you going to like have them as projectile weapons? Because you could probably fit a lot of garlic onto those fries.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was thinking about sticking them in a bag and just like garlic bombing a room to just like make it uninhabitable to him.
Ooh, I
like
love
a garlic
that.
fries grenade.
You could also Fidel Castro him and just put like a singular clove of garlic in a milkshake and offer it to him.
That would be good. Let's make a pie. Since
A pie, right?
I'll grind up some garlic and put it in the meringue, in the lemon meringue pie, since he was so curious about pies.
God, garlic and lemon meringue.
Okay, like, part of me is like, wow, that's probably really good, but at the same time I'm like, wow, this is probably just the fact that I'm Korean and garlic sounds good in everything.
Oh no, imagine if you're a Korean vampire.
Oh, there's art of that out there. I'll have to find it. It's the idea that like vampires who can't have garlic are like lactose intolerant people, in which you just do it anyway and it doesn't matter. And it's like, why do you do this? Bro, I am literally just Korean. Like, I don't...
Oh.
Uh... <sighs> 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 .
All right. So, you all pick your weapons. You know where you're going. Who's driving? And what sort of vehicle are you in? Or are you taking separate vehicles?
If you're a monster hunter, what if you just have the van from the
mystery
Cryptid Inc? I was gonna say the Cryptid Inc.
Oh my god, you borrow Harb's van.
Yeah, that would be something. I was also just imagining, like, because Dawn works as a school nurse during the day, it's just like those like mom minivans. Like very normal looking.
Can I like a bumper sticker that's like hug your nurse or something? Like a nurse.
Yeah.
Nurse
Yeah,
bumper
absolutely. It's got like those really goofy bumper stickers. There's one that I've seen on actual cars here that's like honk if a kid falls out.
Wow.
Like on mom vans, it's so funny to me.
Oh.
Yeah,
It's like
great.
you know a mob is just done. When...
It's so good. It's so good.
I was thinking,
My other
like,
ride is a blood donation now. Recycled whales.
Ooh, those are awful. But anyway.
I was thinking, like, would Nyx have a car? And then I realized two things. He wouldn't have a car. He just knows how to fast travel, but only to locations that, like, are unlocked to him. And also, or he has to borrow his boyfriend's car.
Oh my gosh.
Those are his options. Or his third option is to get hit by a car, but, you know, that's not helpful here.
Well,
Okay,
since
so
you've
you
been there before.
you quick travel to your boyfriend to borrow the car.
Well, you've been to Dracula's lair before. Can you fast travel?
No, I think that, like...
I wonder if it's locked, because
he
Dracula
hasn't-
doesn't want you there.
He hasn't actually been to the place before. They were at, like, the detention center. The vampire detention center, but, like, the invoice was sent to that address. Or, like, a fake address that was, like...
They met in neutral locations or your office.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I know from, you know, my research where he lives, so I haven't been there yet.
All right.
Oh yeah,
so...
if he does get hit by a car, he will just get a concussion or like a sprained ankle or you know just something.
Something as a
he's
treat.
resilient like that.
So our favorite fast food worker, are you taking a lunch break to do this, or is your shift over? Are you quitting?
Are you
Quitting
quiet
sounds
quitting?
great, but yeah, I'm quiet quitting, so I'm just gonna put my like apron on the counter and like put a be back soon sign up, and Donna's supposed to be here in like 20 minutes, so I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm gonna lock the door, put up the smoke break sign, and it'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Yeah. This is only what, your 10th offense?
Who's counting? I don't do math. Just kidding. I do. I'm an engineer. But if I pretend I don't, people won't expect me to do it.
Nothing is...
I love this.
As somebody who is dating somebody who's going to be an engineer, I can confirm, you don't count things. You guess, and then you keep fixing it by adding more things instead of just going back and counting it again.
Amazing.
Because engineers just love fixing things, so they give themselves more work to do.
Exactly.
Okay. Alright, so everyone is on your way to the location of Dracula's lair. I assume you... Well, actually, I shouldn't assume. How do you approach? Do you stop some distance away and meet up? Do you go right up to the front entrance?
Well, his minions, did we are we assuming they're here, or do you all have, you monster hunter, lawyer types, have intel on where they might hang out?
Yeah.
I
Looks
would-
to Zan.
I would say the monster hunter would know
Oh, because
the
of the
sneaky
thing.
break spots that they have, but you also know where they're supposed to be stationed to watch certain entrances. So, but you know those will be on guard, but you also know the sneaky break spots outside of cameras that they use to take like unregulated breaks because they don't have a union and the brake system sucks, and they all know that.
I have a question about the cameras. In this lore, can you see vampires on cameras?
I mean, I feel like I'd
good
be more
question.
concerned if you couldn't, just because. What do you have cameras for then?
I'd say yes, you can see them on camera, because my theory about vampires is because it's the silver in the old
right.
mirrors that causes
Yeah.
them not to be seen.
But what if there's silver in these cameras?
You'd be
These are
surprised. There's some
digital
weird-
cameras. I don't think. Maybe there's a little bit of fuzziness, but they still show up.
Jess was like,
So
is
I
this
just-
the 90s? Because you said a smoke break, and I'm just imagining like one of those camcorders that you have to like put tapes into. And like every 5 minutes someone has to go up there and like put a new tape in.
Well, if those are the types of security cameras, we can always just put something over the top and like make it look like someone left the cap on.
That's true. Or you could do a blood roll and try and break the cameras.
Yeah.
Wants to do a high kick and throw these.
Who wants to break shit?
I mean, I could like try and hack it by like hacking into the wall and then clipping the cords. Because I'm an engineer. But if anyone else has any other ideas.
I mean, I have bandages and those frozen ice pack things, so I could always whip one of those at a camera.
Okay, it's like I think trying to hack the cameras could be blood or tears, depending on how you think about it. Are you
hacking open the wall, so probably blood.
Okay. So make your roll.
This is such a teenager solution, like making things more complicated so you can do the easiest option.
And making a giant mess while I'm doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I have, it's meat or below.
Right.
So I have 2 successes.
Ooh, good. You hack that wall, you feel really good doing it, and you feel very accomplished as you make the connections. It's like I'm trying to do.
Yeah, these cameras are now no longer transmitting much more than an error signal.
Yeah, no. You saw the red light blink off. There's even like a little bit of sparking that happened with the wires as you did it. This is it. The camera itself might not be physically damaged, but you damaged the wiring enough that it's going to take an electrician to come in and replace those wires before they're working again.
And we all know Dracula has phone anxiety and won't call them for a week.
He's just like me for real.
Oh, yeah. Because, in fact, you know that this particular Dracula is extremely neurotic. So it might even be over a week before he calls. He might ask some minions to try and fix it before he calls in a professional.
Incredible.
Excellent. Very good.
So there's a solved. I guess we should talk to the minions to make them unionize.
You could certainly try.
Hey kids, ever heard of unionizing?
I mean, you're a lawyer. You if anyone can get them to seriously commit to a union plan, you probably could.
Yeah, so here's the thing, the lawyer skill is lying, not actual, like, legalese skills, but can I still roll for skill if I just, like, talk to them, like, talk about the legal ramifications and, like, their rights and stuff anyway?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I assume that's a tiers roll?
Yeah, that would be a tiers roll. You're negotiating.
That is 1 success.
Okay.
This is the ideal, like, what every company who shows you those anti-union videos thinks this looks like.
So, with the 1 success, you, unfortunately, there are 2 minions on duty at that entrance, and while you see you're getting through to 1, the other one is far too suspicious of you.
I mean, that's fair. I'm just a random that just, like, walked up and, like, have you considered unionizing?
Yeah, so there's one that's diligently taking information down and is just like, I'll talk to the others and I'll see how many are going to be in on this. And then the other one is just clearly stone-faced, standoffish, and is just like, you can't trust anything this guy says. It's just, he came in out of nowhere. What are you even doing here?
I'm helping you unionize. I'm a lawyer. Gets out a business card.
It's like, and lawyers make house calls? Doesn't even consulting cost money or something? I don't have any money.
Oh, I do these things pro bono, like, it's because I want to see more people be unionized.
Like,
sometimes you have to, like, do things for free to, like, help the world improve.
Do you want to make another tiers roll to try and persuade? Okay.
And also, my skill is lying, so, like...
Yeah, true,
I'm clearly bullshitting here. Yeah. I was gonna say, I realized, like, halfway through after I said, like, 1 success that, like, this system is just the singular success. There's no, like, 2 successes. Because if you roll something related to your skill, you roll 2 dice and take the lower result. Having said that, both of my dice succeeded. So do with that what you will.
Yeah, I think I might be mixing up the rules a little bit with the Delivery Dragons one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now we can make a note of that. But yes, success. And this guard starts getting on your level and vibing with you, and is just like, wait, what did you say your name was? I've actually heard good things about you.
Attorney at law. Some people call me an ace attorney, but that's weird. I'm not asexual, but you take what you get.
He looks a little bit confused at that, and then like does a little laugh as he gets it, and just goes, okay. So do you want to come in and possibly talk to some other people? I can give you directions to the employee lounge. Maybe I can't leave here because I'm on duty, but maybe you could talk to Mina. She's kind of the leader, the most disgruntled one here. Maybe you can help her organize things.
Sounds great. Thank you for, letting me, do this.
Yeah, sure. Just, wait. And then he looks behind and sees the other 2 and is like, are they with you?
No. They just happened to, arrive around at the same time. I don't know what they're doing.
And then looks at...
Here last week!
and then looks closer and is just like, oh, Dawn?
Yes.
Is that you?
Hello.
You got a rough deal. If there's anything I could do, I mean, I don't really have much at the moment, but yeah.
If we unionized.
Maybe if we unionize, we can add your case on, because none of the minions think what happened was right. It's just not cool.
Yeah, it's I'm over it. Don't worry about it. I'll get a hold of you. We'll figure something out. It'll be okay.
Okay, just I mean, are you here? Did you leave some stuff? I mean,
Part of it was this is like me doing the smooth talking thing without technically lying, and I'm like, well, I brought Nyx, and Nyx has clearly told you about some of what's going on. Also, yes, I do technically have things that are still here that belong to me, but I do not have them in my possession currently.
oh, in that case, I mean, you should have just said so, Nyx. You should have said you were here with Dawn. I mean,
I didn't know if she wanted to, like, be forthright about it, or, like, what happened was really rough, so, I didn't want to, like, put her on the spot. I wanted, her to be able to, like, if she wanted to talk about it, I'd let her do it.
Oh, you take confidentiality very seriously.
Yes, absolutely.
I think you're a good fit. All right, go on in, and then just kind of like looks at the third member of your group, going, and you.
Let's take your daughter to
What if you had, like,
work
an order, like a delivery order for Dracula?
Take your daughter to work day, and he just looks so confused, and he's looking between all of you and going, "Who's are you together?" I mean, no, that's an entirely personal question. Just go on in. See Mina. Maybe she can get you guys some guest passes. That happens sometimes, because this is a library.
Just imagining, like, Nyx dressed very nicely in a suit, this kid in a literal fast food worker's uniform, and then Dawn sitting here, like, dressed like a suburban mom.
It's like, but right now that he's convinced that you're working on getting them unionized, he doesn't want to risk that. So now he's just like, okay, I'm gonna go along with this, and it's gonna all work out. They've got to have a good reason.
Hell yeah.
All right, so you are in. From here, where do you want to go? You did get directions to the employee lounge with the name of a very disgruntled minion. But that's not where Dracula's gonna be. And it's not gonna be where any money is kept either.
What other rooms, like, are available to us?
They did say that this was a library, so there are some semi-public areas that might get you closer to some private areas. But you don't have any directions to those. And you have no guest passes either, so if you're caught by somebody a little bit more hard-nosed, they might end up trying to stop you.
I'm definitely thinking of going to the reception desk place, just because, like, not only do we get the guest passes, but also more people to consider unionizing. That's what I'm rapidly realizing. That's my true reason for being here.
I discovered my true calling.
Is the money that, like, Dracula has to pay his workers because they've got a contract and their wages need to be higher.
Yeah, like, if he screwed us over, imagine being someone who works for him. That would totally suck.
Looks at Dawn.
Yeah.
Okay, so since you went in the front entrance, you just really had to go pretty much straight in order to find the front desk. And at the front desk is a older woman with horn-rimmed glasses and those little chains that go along the sides. She looks very librarian, very put together, with the bun on top, crisp shirt. And she looks at you slightly suspicious, but you did come past the guards, and one of you at least looks to be in a suit, and she does recognize Dawn. So while she's a little confused, she doesn't immediately think of you as intruders. It's like, yes, what can I do for you? My name is Mina.
Because seeing the recognition, I will turn to Dawn to see if Dawn wants to do something first, because I went ahead last time.
Okay, I want to ask, is she named Mina because of Mina Harker?
Maybe. Shh.
Okay.
And I mean, if anyone's gonna help you take down Dracula, it should be Mina, right?
Yeah. So Dawn is just kind of like walking up, and being like, so, some of my stuff is still here, and I'm here to get it back. And I brought a friend who is really good at legal organization, who's been actually talking to some of the people about unionizing and things like that. And not really a whole lot going on, so I was just here to get some guest passes for them, and also for me so I can go and get my stuff, and not have this be a thing where, you know, we get kicked out for me trying to get my stuff back.
Mina nods and turns towards the lawyer and is just like, I assume you're here to look in some old dusty books. We have plenty of those. It's like
I am honestly more interested in talking to the people that work here because, you know, I heard all about what happened to Dawn, and apparently, you know, everyone seems to agree that what happened was, you know, wrong, and I just really want to help improve all of your situations. Like, how long have you been working for Dracula? Because, like, this important job that you hold, like, I'm sure that you should be getting at least 2 raises and, like, maybe a promotion at this point.
Mina raises an eyebrow and coughs, and the cough sounds a bit like too long in answer to your question to how long she has been working here.
Ooh.
And, but looks around, making sure no one else is listening, and is just like, I would love any information you have on who can help us with legal matters, because as you know, Dracula doesn't play fair, and it's just like you could see her like hesitate over a first name, but feels like she might get in trouble for revealing it. And then fills out 3 passes and is just like, well, if you're going to stick it to him, you're gonna need these. And even passes one to Dawn. It's just like, I know people will recognize you, but you know there are some hardasses that will totally rat you out just to get in good with the boss for the hopes that it will get them something, even though it definitely won't.
Yeah.
Fucking bootlickers.
Totally.
Ugh.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mina. I'm gonna like look at Nyx and be like, do you want to talk to her, or do you want to just come back to this event?
I think like Nyx is gonna like take a moment to like look at the other 2 and like see like what their plans are, because like Nyx could stay here all day and like talk about like unionization, but like there is, you know, a plan that they should be doing if they want to actually get money from Dracula.
Yes. Do we know exactly how much Nyx is owed?
Nyx is probably owed something around... Well, you said vampire court only lasts 3 days, but there's probably at least $25,000, maybe $50,000 if you think about lawyer fees and stuff like that, and you probably had a team working on it.
No, the thing about Vampire Court is, for some reason, it's always just the defense attorney and maybe a weird little girl, and that's
it.
Vampire Court
Okay.
is rough because, like, if a case lasts more than 3 days, then like that person is automatically considered guilty, and it's a whole mess. Like, there needs to be a change in the Vampire Court system, honestly, but you know that's a story for another day.
Okay. So maybe it's less, but I'm going to say it's probably around 25,000.
Okay.
Because I
just-
imagine like Vampire Court is pretentious as fuck.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
Oh,
even
absolutely.
even if it lasts only 3 days, there's
Yeah.
probably a lot more fees involved than you think.
Yeah.
I'm just distracted because Christina posted one of my favorite memes, which is the scene from Shrek where they're like, they don't even have dental.
Yes. And that's like really rough, like for vampire minions.
Yeah, especially for minions. You imagine that some of them might be werewolves or vampires, and if they don't have dental, that's just sad.
Change your teeth and you don't even have dental. SMH my head.
Like, even the greasy
my
spoon.
How unfortunate.
They're doing worse than the greasy spoon.
Like,
Oh,
that's not
That
good.
is
That's a level. So, like, if you ever want a new job, I'm not saying it's great. You do have to deal with annoying people and customers who, like, dine and dash and turn into bats in the bathroom. But other than that, it's pretty okay.
Turning into
Alright.
bats in the bathroom sounds like a euphemism for like someone needs to clean up the bathroom. It's a mess.
So you have passes. It sounds like Nick's Wrong might stay behind to talk with Mina a little bit more. You know she's been here a long time, so she might have information for you, or you can try finding it out on your own. I will say if you want to get more information out of Mina, you will need to make a tears roll.
okay. Do I still use the? Can I still use the lawyer skill for this?
Luther.
Yeah,
Uncle
sure.
Jimmy's doing the.
That is a success.
Okay. So, Mina kind of, as the other two wander off a little bit, she leans closer and is just like, "Are you here to do some damage?"
How? In what way?
Well, if you're here with Dawn, is there any way you can possibly hurt Dracula where it really hurts? Because, you know, he loves this library. And most of the money that he takes in, he spends on books. He just can't stop.
Dan, are you suggesting what I think you are? A thing that would also hurt you?
Well,
That's a question for Zach.
Thing is, I'm stuck here in this job because of a bullshit contract that I signed.
Ooh, I'm so sorry to hear. Like, hopefully, if, you know, you all form a union, we can, you know, figure out a less predatory contract that, like, will, you know, give you more rights, that, you know, will hopefully make this a much better place and easier to leave.
Like, thing is, this contract that I signed, you see, he loves paper. He loves paper so much that the only copy of that contract is kept in a safe in his office.
Wow.
My man is a blood-sucking creature of the night, and his favorite thing in the world is paper.
What a weirdo.
Damn. In before it turns out that this Dracula is literally brown.
It's like, and I recently discovered that his wall safe, the code to open it is his first name.
Oh, interesting. And I'm assuming that your contract and everything that, is screwing you over right now means that you can't tell us that name without, ramifications for you.
Exactly. But I can get you a key to the restricted section of the library where you should be able to find the name. Because not only does he love paper, he loves publishing his own books every 100 years or so, and he keeps copies.
Oh no, not Istrad! Istrad.
So, you should be able to find the name on some of those books in the restricted section.
I'd love that, thank you.
It's like, she holds up the key and just says, I did not give this to you.
That is correct. I have, in fact, only had a short conversation with you about getting a guest pass, and then I moved on.
Exactly. Glad we see eye to eye here.
Of course.
Happy
just
hunting.
Fuck off. Thank you.
So, while...
I'm just looking at the hello chat gif.
Yeah, oh, it's so good. I have one that it's like goodbye chat, and it's literally just walking backwards, like in reverse. And it's Edgeworth.
While Nyx is having that conversation, what are the other two of you doing? We have a little bit of time here.
Probably just trying to like keep track of how many people we have going on, like how many people are in the library right now, how many people seem to be actually working right now.
It's while this is a library, you noticed actually on the desk as you walked in, there was a sign-in sheet, which all of you overlooked and Mina pointedly did not point out.
Oh, thank you, Mina. She's like, I pretend I do not see.
And you noticed that there were some names of some regulars to the library, usually esoteric or occult researches from the university. And you know that they can be troublesome because they are sleep deprived and generally in rotten moods because they are buried in books underground for weeks on end because let's say they're graduate students for the most part. And you know basically how to get around them for the most part, but if you're too disruptive in the library, you know they can cause trouble. But if you continue the hallways in the other areas, you will run into more and more minions. And while you have the pass, you know there are some that will hassle you if they catch you here. There are some that will help you, though.
Dean, do you know what grad students love? Free food.
Yes.
Yeah, you're so right. You know what? It's funny that you mentioned that because my first thought was just like going to the employee lounge and seeing if Dracula has any lunch and eating that first, but like this also works.
Oh, I love it.
Replacing his lunch with garlic fries.
It's that shit where like someone writes their name on like a can of soda and then you come outside and you see your coworker like drinking it. You're like, oh.
Oh, okay. So, Do you want to ply the graduate students with greasy fries while they're near ancient tomes? This ought to be great.
It's either that
that
or
is a combination.
It's like you're gonna try and convince them to break several library rules, but you have some pretty tasty bait there.
I mean, they are very pungent, and these are grad students.
Mm-hmm.
Notorious for will eat anything.
Yes, and they probably haven't seen hot food in days.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, like, fries that are still crunchy. It's like if they brought in anything from the outside, it's probably gross at the moment.
I'm just gonna open the bag and just kind of waft the smell.
Just walking around like you're walking a dog, but like with an open bag of fries.
I'm gonna have you make a tears roll, but yeah, I'm gonna have you make a tears roll. This is great. I love it.
I can't wait till I get into grad school, and this is all I'm gonna be thinking about the entire time.
Is food? Yeah. That's a success.
Oh, very good. As soon as you shake that bag, you hear sniffling going on and stuffling, and then a pile of papers that you assumed was just a stack that somebody had left on a table. Just this person sits up and all the papers just like shuff off.
Oh my god.
And you see like this person that is just shy of growing mushrooms. This person has been down here for a while and is just not even paying attention to you, just kind of like going over to you, and the face is just getting closer and closer to the bag, just kind of like sniffing in ecstasy. Just, oh, that smells so good. That smells so good. Can I have some, please? And that just starts the others from coming towards you, and the same thing happens. And it looks like once they see each other, that they're about to get really territorial over that bag of fries. You just say the word, and they're gonna start just grabbing at it.
Hey, future PhDs, there's enough for everyone.
So instead of one bag, you pull out like 5.
I didn't make like a great, but it's a huge bag of fries. So, and we want them to be distracted. So maybe like the fries are going on this table in the corner and kind of the back. Just let us by and you can enjoy those. Do we have a deal?
One of them just immediately takes everything off of that table and puts it on another table, and is just like, we can't get the books dirty, but we really should eat outside, but that smells so good. If we keep it on this table and we just stay over here until we wash our hands and can be around the books again. And everyone else is just kind of like mesmerized by the fries and going, yeah, that sounds great. Sounds good.
And they're also thinking, they're like, yeah, but if we wait, then like they're gonna not be crispy anymore. They're gonna get bad and soggy and...
It's like they're like, we have to eat the fries now. They just smell so good, and they won't be good later. So everyone has to eat now, and then we will just make sure to get out of the library, wash our hands before coming back, so that we don't damage the books.
Alternatively, I am going to reach into my like giant mom bag and pull out like alcohol wipes and like leave them on there, so like your hands aren't like completely clean, but they're quote unquote clean enough that you could go back to work.
They look at you like you're amazing. They're just like,
whoa, I've never seen these before.
It's like, oh, we
haven't
been out of the library in so long. We didn't even know what wet wipes looked like. Yeah, it's like really, when I was a teenager, I would live in the library if I could, so this probably would have been me. Yes. So, you have thoroughly distracted everyone who was researching in the library. So you are free to peruse. And I think at this point, Nyx would probably be free to join you.
Stop.
Looking over at Nick's like, well, how'd it go?
Yeah, it went really well. Mina, I didn't spend any more time with Mina, and she didn't give me this key to an area of the library that will help us find out what Dracula's name is. She totally didn't do that, I spent a normal amount of time at the reception. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
But if
we've just been feeding hungry students, and you just like, I'm assuming we look over and they're just like absolutely going to town.
Oh yeah, and
yeah,
the best part,
seagulls.
and the best part is one of the fees I think Dracula has for letting students study here is that he gets to take a nibble every now and then. Yeah, he's not gonna like that next nibble from them with all that garlic in their system.
Yeah, and this whole library probably stinks to him too.
Yep.
Perfect.
They might not damage the books, but that smell is going to linger for weeks.
My man's gonna set out boxes of like baking soda to absorb it.
Nyx looks over at them and is like, damn, it would be really easy, like, after they're finished eating to be like, hey, did you like that? Do you wish you had more breaks and more, like, time to be able to, like, eat food that's, not be stuck in the library? Unionize!
I mean, like, if you've got flyers, you could put them in their books for when they come back to them.
It's like true, you get blank looks from the grad students, and it's just like, nobody's making us stay here. We have deadlines and homework. And plus, our research is just so interesting that, nothing else compares.
My first thought was your only shackle is the man.
They are just super nerds.
And Dawn is like, I haven't seen this in forever because I work in an elementary school, so the worst that you have with kids is, like, a kid who went to ham and dodgeball and, like, skinned their knee. So this is, like, bizarre. But she's like, yeah, you do you, kid. You do you. Kids are like this.
Yeah, it's like that one answered you, but the rest are just still completely absorbed in the fries.
Yeah, Nick's notes like, probably
I'd say
unionizing them probably wouldn't do anything, so probably like go to the restricted section.
Yeah, if they were TAs, they might be interested in listening to you. But I'm thinking that at least maybe one of them is a TA. But after they're finished eating food or close to finishing eating food, they're just all like in that happy food coma place, so they are paying no attention to you. They're just chillax. It's like none of them are in any position to get in your way.
Nice.
That's so great. Where would we go from here if we wanted to go more toward like the like I guess the administrative part of it, like where the break room is, like where Dracula's office is, where like these weird books are?
Okay, you know that there are 2 separate break rooms. That one of them was near the desk where you met Mina. The other one is basically on the other side of the library section, so that they have, since the library is so large, they have 2 break spots one's for people who work mostly in the library, and one's for people who work mostly in security. And the one for mostly insecurity is by Mina's desk, and the one further in the library is the one for the library workers. And you know that the administrative offices are near the library administration, the library break room, because Dracula likes to keep those people under his thumb more, because he is an obsessed micromanager about the library.
Of course he is.
Of course he is, because why wouldn't he? Okay. I'm gonna, look at Nix and be like, okay, so do you want to not look at the cool section that you did not find out about, and we can go, not bother the break room people?
Wink.
A wink. Yes, Dawn knows where the restricted section of the library is, and it's actually has a padlocked gate, hence the very old-fashioned key. It's like one of those gates that you can drag across so that you can see the books and long for them, but if you don't have access, you can't get to them.
But I've got the key.
Oh, and there is a guard stationed there at all times.
Of course.
Even though they basically have nothing to do.
That's
Well,
so funny.
We do have a smooth talker here.
See, you said you went there. My brain went, oh, we should tell them that there's free food in the break room.
You know?
I mean, does this
I could pull
guard
the fire
recognize
alarm.
The fire
Okay.
alarm!
Are you just walking up, or are you taking a peek first and taking the lay of the land?
At least for me, I am doing that thing where you look at a shelf that is near the thing that you want to look at, so you look like you're there for a reason, but you're not actually.
Oh yeah. You take a look, and this is one of the worst bullies on the security team.
Oh no.
And you know that they are mostly dumb as a box of rocks, but they take their job seriously and like licking Dracula's boots a lot.
Absolutely would be a scab.
Yes. So, I'm gonna look over at Nyx and be like, so the unionizing shit isn't probably gonna work on, Brick McBrawn over there, so I think we're gonna have to go around with something else.
I like the nickname Brick. Let's say his name is Brock.
I think, because every time I think of Brick, I think of, the giant, actual bricks, and then I also think of Brick from Borderlands, because he's an inverse triangle.
Yes.
I love Brick so much. Brick is so good. He's so wholesome.
I think
Basically,
Nyx-
muscles on muscles and muscle for brain.
I think Nyx responds and is do you think talking at all will work, or do you think this is a physical force kind of job? Or a sneaking kind of job?
I mean, I feel like you could trick him into something. It's just a matter of being able to figure out what is going to get him away, both far enough and for long enough that you can get a chance to look at it.
We could ask him how much he lift and prove it, and then he'll be like, oh, I want to go prove it. I don't know.
You know what? That's entirely fair. Again, the people that I work with are mostly small children and gym teachers that don't actually do anything, so that's actually quite an interesting idea.
You could emulate the gym teacher and be like, run laps now, and blow the whistle.
Do the beep test.
Pacer test. The Fitness Gram Pacer test is a multi-stage aerobic fitness exam.
Okay, so what kind of roll do you want to make to try this?
God almighty, what do I... I'm just trying to think about what is going to be the best way to do this, because I'm like, how do I want to do this? I kind of want to, be like, I kind of want to misdirect him and be like, so, roll for the fitness Pacer test. Be like, so there's a thing that you should do, and it's gonna take a bit, so I need you to go do this, because then Dracula's gonna be very happy with you, and I kind of want to do that, so I kind of want to make it a tears thing.
Okay, that one would definitely be a tears thing. Very persuasive.
Yeah. Yes, okay. Okay, I got 2 2s, which is good.
Okay.
Roll for dodgeball.
Dodgeball.
So, you go up and you don't give Brock much time to think. You just say a bunch of things, and it's just like, you're needed at the farthest exit that you can think of. It's just like, you need to stand guard there right now. Dracula's expecting an attack, and you need to be ready, kind of thing. And it's just like, and he's like, oh, well, when will the attack be? And it's just like, I don't know. Could be today, could be tomorrow. Like, just stand guard. And he's just like, all right, I'm the best at that, so I'm gonna go do that. And he's just like, you'll take over. It's like not really realizing in his haste that Dawn is no longer working there. He's like, you'll cover my post, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Don't worry about it.
Good.
I was definitely thinking that like maybe this guy doesn't even know or like remember that Dawn, is no longer a minion just because of like how dedicated he is to like being a guard and not really thinking much of anything.
It's funny because that was your idea, was to be like, oh, there's a thing you need to watch, and my first thought was, Dracula lost his favorite pebble. You want to go find it, champ?
Oh my god. A snipe hunt. I love it. Yeah,
Dracula lost his favorite snipe.
Yep.
He's gone. He is very gone.
My man. Gone. And then just, like, motion for Nyx to bring me the key and so I can, like, push open the thing.
Yeah.
And we can go and look at it. How is Sarah dealing with all of this? Are they, like, what is going on here?
Pretty much. Like, that guy was not very smart. I don't know.
Yeah, he very much kind of like my brain was like, that when Dawn is talking to him, she's using like the first grade teacher voice. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yes.
It's very like patient,
hey, buddy.
soft, and
that whole thing.
I
think to a little kid.
I think I'm going to add a complication to this because you have not rolled a failure at all. So,
and Zan is pissed!
So I think each player should move 1 to your blood stat for overconfidence.
Ooh, wow. I like that.
Time to attack people. I'm realizing that, like, because of, like, the aura of garlic that was, emanating from the grad students, like, Nyx would also be affected, so, like, that would probably, like, be what is hindering his, like, usual lawyery skills, just, like, the presence of garlic.
You got that handkerchief in your front pocket for a reason.
Yeah.
Do you, like, need a nurse or something? You're looking
do you want, like,
paler than usual.
Yeah, do you want, like, an allergy pill or something?
Maybe maybe it'd be good to have just in case.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, if you have one.
Back into the massive bag, like, into there, going through, like, okay, paracetamol, no, acetaminophen, no. Antihistamines, there you go.
Thank you.
Vampire Benadryl. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So, you have the key. You can open the gate and enter the restricted section of the library. There are hundreds of books in here, and you recognize them as being really rare, expensive, first editions, things that you expect to see. A lot of them are titles that you recognize, but there are several that you don't. Some of them are written in different languages. And Nyx, you know that one of the names on these books, probably several of these books, is the name you're looking for. How do you want to go about finding it? Do we all want to make some sort of searching roll to find the name? You could all, like, shout out your impressions of which name you think is the right one.
Absolutely, yes. I love that. Like,
I'm still going with my guess of this person literally being Bram Stoker because of all these books.
see, my brain was like, oh, books. It's like, okay, Stephen King, fine. Edgar Allan Poe, fine. J.K. Rowling, ugh. Keep going.
No.
Yeah, this person's
Chuck
bad
Tingle.
enough. A bad enough person to have first editions. Oh, this wouldn't be the section where the Chuck Tingle books are, but
First
rest
edition
assured, there's
Chuck Tingle.
probably a section of those as well.
I'm just imagining like leather-bound versions of Chuck Tingle's books. Like
I was too. I was like, oh, the fancy version.
Oh,
gold leaf
it's like an
pages.
omnibus. It's just one book, and it's an omnibus version. Just
yes. Yes. I love it. Okay, so yeah, we're absolutely trying to figure out which this is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think Nyx is going off purely vibes. Just like
Vibes.
just like looking like really quickly like looking over all of the spines of the books. And then just like if something feels like off and out of place, then like maybe that will be the name.
You've met Dracula, and you know that he signs everything Count Dracula, so and you've got a good vibe off of him.
Because I've already met him before, so like I have something to go off on.
Well, all of you have at least met him once.
Yeah, I'm just pulling crap off the shelves. Like, I don't even know. I don't do research. I just look stuff up online.
I'm thinking of the thing where, like, Guy Fawkes had to hide himself, so he checked in as, like, John Johnson at, like, a hotel, and his profession was, like, man or something, and that's what I'm imagining Dracula does.
I
Regular
got one
human
success on my
bartender.
Tia's roll
Yes.
for vibe. Doing a vibe check.
Yes.
Okay, so I think this would probably... I'd say this is a blood roll. You're probably angrily searching through the shelves and remembering all the things that you know about Dracula to help you figure out which name it is, and...
Jackie Daytona,
I did roll a 1, so like regardless of which stat, it's still a success. I guess blood would work more for vampire vibes because vampire no vampire.
Yeah, you gotta have that good. You gotta have that good vibe.
I do want everyone to make a roll because there are a lot of books in here.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm also somehow, like, thinking about Dracula as, like, Colin Robinson. I don't know why, but my brain is like, he looks very cool in my head, but I'm also just like, he's definitely this man.
The most nondescript man.
Yes. Okay.
And we're rolling blood.
Yes.
Yeah, vampire vibe. I'm trying to think if I should be rolling 1 die or 2.
Your skill is
You
band-aids
roll-
and ice packs, so you wouldn't get
Okay,
a
yeah.
bonus to this, I think.
Oh,
Band-Aids
hey,
and
first
ice
failure.
packs.
Customer service.
I got a 4, so I actually think that meets, so it's still not a failure.
I also got a
yeah,
four.
because you're at
and
4 now.
our blood is at 4 now, yeah.
Yeah.
I also got a 4, narrowly scraping by.
That is like, I want this to be harder. Also, increase your
It's
thing.
like-
Us, got right there.
It's one thing because I feel like you haven't failed, so I want to give you the overconfidence thing. I've already given it to you once, though, so I want to hold off on that. But have you read what happens?
Overconfidence correcting us back to 3.
Have
I
you
did.
read what happens when you reach 6?
Yeah, I have. It's so funny.
Oh, it's so great.
Mm.
I'll
We
let
do
the audience know
it.
if it happens. It's
I mean,
like,
that's the
but
fun
the
thing
thing
about
is,
Honey Heist, is that you never want either of your stats to go to 0 or 6.
it's like
That's the
actually,
beauty of it.
it's like you've still won every single one. I think I will go ahead and give you another overconfidence because there are things that you can do to move points, and I want you to use some of those.
Zad desperately wanting us to fail for once in our lives.
I want you
Zen.
guys to use some of these mechanics. They're great.
Zen is like, please, miss for once. Do it. Miss.
And then, well, like, skill issue.
Sounds like a skill issue. I don't miss.
Yes, well, you are so confident now. You notice as you're tossing books in the middle that aside from the names that everyone knows, one name keeps popping up. It has a different last name lots of the times, but it keeps on showing up, and you're just like, this is not a best-selling book. This is not a memorable title. Why are these books here? They're things like The Werewolf Howled at Midnight, and it's like they like cross different genres, and you kind of crack them open, and it's just, it doesn't really seem like they're anything special, but the name that
One
keeps
of the books, and all the inside of the book is just, for some reason, a bunch of fake tweets.
Oh, yes, that's the latest one. And it's like, it evidently claims to be an artistic expression book. And it's just some of the dumbest takes you've ever seen. And you actually what have you, I'd say our little fast food worker recognizes the Twitter handle and going, oh, if this is him, he's a fucking loser, and then just realizes this is him, isn't it? And you look at the name, and it's Mervin.
Mervin, the shit poster, but like not even good. It's like a meme account, but only because people screenshot the things that he tweets and makes them memes. Because they're so stupid. Like, what is this?
Like the kind of person that's, like, viral, but only because other people quote tweet them, and the quote tweet counts as engagement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're beating your ass in the quote tweets, bestie.
Yeah,
And
this
Mervin
person gets ratioed every day.
And Mervin, of course, sees the ratios and thinks that they are spectacular tweets and put them all into a book and leather bound it.
Mervin saw that Elon Musk added the views feature and was like, yeah!
Incredible.
I'm just thinking of the if any of you
It's like-
have read the comic The Wicked and the Divine, there's one guy who's like very dark and goth and very serious, And then he's like, which god am I? Am I like Baphomet or something? And she just goes, Nurgle. And he goes, what?
It's like,
And
I
she's like,
just
yeah,
imagine that the overconfidence with finding out that this guy is one of the worst shit posters, the blood just starts boiling and rising. And you're just so confident. This guy is just such a douchebag that you can't lose. You can't lose now. It's like, you've got him. And you now know his name. And it's one of the most hilarious things you've ever heard.
What's he gonna do? Tweet about us? Let's go get this guy.
It's like, and the office is practically next door.
Incredible.
I love this.
Here's the thing, Zan. What if now we've got 5 blood, we go into Dracula's office and just beat the shit out of him and not lose because we're using blood instead of tears?
You could do that, yes.
I was gonna say I want to kind of look at all this stuff because there's so many things that they have going on here. Let's see. Okay. Because I was looking at the complications because you're like, oh, you can move stuff. And I was like, that only I think happens if we... Does that happen if we fail, or is that just something that we can... I think it's only if we... Yeah, it's if we
There
fail.
is the flashback, which says you can voluntarily move 1 from blood to tears to reveal why Dracula owes you money, revealing a key weakness that the players can expose. And if they act on this information and fail a roll, no complications arise. So this can be used for a future roll. And technically, I all had you kind of flash back earlier, or at least explain why Dracula owes you money. You could do a more detailed flashback if you like. It's like, now that your blood is up and you're remembering the moment.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that, yeah. I'll do that.
Okay. Describe the moment when you decided you had to get revenge on Mervyn, the Count Dracula.
It is definitely a moment of, like, middle of finishing up a fight. I'm thinking of, like, Miss Pauline at the end of that TF2 short, where she's, like, in the middle of burying a bunch of bodies, and she's like, I do not get paid enough for this. And just kind of the thought of, I'm definitely not being paid enough for this. Going home, checking the bank account, and seeing that the check has not hit. And being like, that's interesting.
And I'm gonna add to that, you calling up accounts payable for the minions, and just getting a bullshit reason back.
Oh, it's absolutely like, yeah.
And they're like, oh no, it went through. It must be something at your bank.
Thank you, Penhead. I am out of drink, but I will get drink in a second.
Thanks, Penhead.
Michael.
I've been waiting to use this, like, line the entire time about him owing money and being like, it's funny that he's a count because he can't be able to count his own money and give it to people!
He can't count it out.
Yeah, he can't keep count of his own shit.
Well,
yeah, they're
on to 3 people about to kick his ass.
I love it. It's so good.
Anyone else want to take advantage of the flashback?
Nah, I feel like at this stage, like, not only is Nyx overconfident, he's also like, I'm not gonna talk about unions with him. I don't have any more words to say to Dracula besides, you owe me money. Pay up, bitch. So, like, you know, he's ready to fight.
Alright.
I love this.
In that case, how do you enter the office? Are you bursting in full of your overconfidence? Are you knocking at the door?
I really just want to... I just want it to be the bust down the door. Where are you, Dracula? You fucking nerd. Where's my fucking money?
Yes.
I will allow this.
Yeah.
It's like all three of you kick open the door at once, and you storm in. You're just like, "Where's my fucking money?" And you're staring at an empty chair behind a desk.
But damn it.
Walking around, looking around, being like, "Are you in the freaking toilet again? Get out! Get out of here so I can kick your ass. I don't care."
There's no windows in here.
Well, do I see where his safe is?
You do.
Hey. I think if he doesn't seem to be in here, then I think I'm just gonna open the safe and pocket the contract.
It's like, since you have found out the code to the safe, you easily open it. And there are stacks of money in there. As well as contracts which you skim over, and they are so bogus. Some of the fine print is almost unreadable legalese that just completely entraps his employees. It's like, you can either destroy these, and having no having no contracts to reference back to, you could set some of these workers free, or you can keep them to try and bring a case against Dracula in the future.
Mm.
If you think he's going to survive the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, Nyx looks at these and is just like, definitely contemplating burning them, but then like, he's a vampire lawyer. They put everything into court record. Even when it seems like a completely unrelated, like, thing that they found at the crime scene. That just comes up at the last minute during the trial and, like, turns everything around, so yeah.
Here's again our moment of going, like, this is an educational stream in which Draz is vaguely explaining court record, and I'm like, this is why you read your contracts, freelancers.
Does the sound
explaining the game Phoenix Wright?
Yeah, literally.
Every contract you pull out, does it ding?
Yes.
Ding, ding, ding. And as
those
contracts,
several pieces of information. Because the thing about Vampire Court is, if you pull out the wrong piece of evidence, then that will dock you points, and it will be bad. And you'll be like,
they dox you.
It's like as the contracts are dinging, you hear a sound, you turn, and Mervyn Dracula enters the office, fixing his cuffs, and then sees you all and freezes.
Just kind of like looking him up and down, being like, "Your fly is undone."
It's like, blushes, turns around, fixes the fly, and turns back around. And it's just like, none of you have authorization to be here. You should all leave. I will have you all arrested for this. You're trespassing.
Did you order DoorDash? And I'm just gonna hand him the pie.
Oh.
As a vampire lawyer, I'm allowed to trespass on properties that belong to suspects. No one ever questions why vampire lawyers are able to, grab evidence from places that they shouldn't be. That's just a special perk of the job.
No one questions vampire lawyers.
It's a little treat you get.
Oh, awesome. All right. Okay. So, as soon as you mention the vampire lawyer rules, he immediately realizes that you have documents in hand and goes to attack you.
Hey, Dracula.
Yeah, like unfortunately he's not
pie time.
he's not too distracted by the pie at the moment, unfortunately.
I was gonna say, can we ice this fool, in which I actually mean take out an ice pack and throw it at him?
Do it.
Oh yes, please. Let's
Ice
do that.
gun. Okay.
Before the fight, I'm gonna go live on TikTok and tag Mervin and just set my phone up. So
They're beating your ass with the quote tweets, bestie!
So everyone can see Mervin's demise. As a vampire lawyer, are you okay with this being filmed?
Oh. I think this is evidence that he attacked me first.
You know,
So
you have a
anything
point.
I do is self-defense.
You have
Why
a
is
very
this, like,
good point.
Why is this like actual legal advice?
Well, you had to make this into Ace Attorney Vampire Edition.
You're like you, and I'm like, that better not be the royal you, because Draz made that decision. We all just got pulled along with it.
Well, let's just say that once Draz and Jess rolled up characters, it just became that.
Yes, as I'm sure we'll get more into in the behind the scenes, but Jess did roll up a character as well, and that character also was a lawyer. So we were like, damn. Gay lawyers.
It's like we decided they were lawyers and then partners, and then we were like, oh crap. This is what
this is just Ace Attorney.
Yep. They're partners. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so I want to know, do you want this to be a blood roll for me to take out an ice pack and whip it at this man as he tries to attack Nyx?
Yes, make a blood roll.
Okay, is this related to my skill? Because it is bandages and ice packs, and I am whipping an ice pack at this man. We're
those that know how to put you together can take you apart. I am loving this.
Yes, I have succeeded on both of them. It's so funny. You're like, those who know how to put you together take your part, and that's why I always play healers, because I'm like, I get to decide who dies. I don't care. So yes, that's a success on both of them.
Okay, so you definitely hit Mervin with the ice pack. He's still sort of on course towards Nyx, but definitely without as much momentum.
Okay, yes.
And Nyx, you were going to attack as well?
Yes, I think like the final ding contract, happens, and then, I think like he moves out of the way of Dracula's trajectory though. Well, actually, on second thought, I think like he doesn't move out of the trajectory, he just crouches down and like goes to grab Dracula's legs.
Sweep the legs!
And that would be a blood roll.
Make a blood roll.
Wow, that is a success. Who would have thought? Because I'm at 5 blood.
Yep, who would have thought? You all being so bad at blood right now. So, yeah, you knock Mervin Dracula down.
I'm gonna look at Sarah and be like, Pie, do it.
Oh yeah. I want to love Mordito this like his face right into the pie while he's laying on the ground. Just grab him by the hair and just boop.
Just eat your pie.
Absolutely.
All vampires have long hair, and this is the danger of it.
Give me a blood roll.
Can I add customers? No, I'm not. Just kidding.
No, yes, you can.
Yes, add customer
you have
service.
A pie. I'm going to allow this.
Justice.
Customer service.
You are serving him pie, and yeah, let's just say that.
Customer service is serving justice.
It is a success.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
This is great. Death by pie.
I love that Undertale song.
All right. So, with a couple of convulsions after swallowing, Mervin Dracula is now dead. However,
I'm not sure we actually want him dead because I want to drag him back to court again, but at least passed out and
Undead, so he might.
well,
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
he's had a severe allergic reaction. I'd say if the nurse does not want to heal him, then he will certainly be dead in the next few minutes. However, as this is happening, you hear a slow clap from the entrance
Oh no, is there a second move?
of the office, and you see a stately, tall, well-dressed,
Mina?
three-piece pantsuit woman vampire. But you do see some resemblance to Mervyn.
Is
It's like the secret
This
vampire, the vampire secret that Dracula hasn't told you. He had a twin.
Dun, dun, dun.
Is this Integra Helsing? What the fuck?
I forgot that was one of the twists that is possible.
Yeah. You're like, she's in a suit. I'm like, oh, it's Integra Helsing. Nice. Anyway.
You know what? Let's call her Integra because she is fucking badass.
Yeah.
And she's definitely doing the slow clap.
Yeah, well, while you all are doing that, just gonna reach into my bag, take out the epinephrine, and just be like, smack right into the thigh, and be like, okay, anyway, where were we?
And she's just stares down at Mervyn, and is just like, well, my brother's always been a useless ass, but tell me why I shouldn't kill you all right now.
Well, it's just, oh god. I was gonna say this is all on tape, but like, I guess she would just destroy that.
It's like, she's just seen you kill her brother.
Well, nearly kill.
He's
Nearly
not
kill.
dead. He's sitting there with epinephrine in his thigh. He'll be fine.
And she's just like, severely maimed and embarrassed, my brother. Still, why should I let you live?
Live on TikTok.
I'm on TikTok. You embarrassed my brother. Listen, I didn't choose to leave the bathroom without checking to see if my fly was down. So, like, that's on him. That one's on him.
Yeah,
And
I can add you to the live.
she raises an eyebrow and just like the likes go flying because she's just so cool and calm.
You're just doing amazing things
we're
for
live
my
right now,
engagement.
so like we have evidence.
She's just like, yes, this is being filmed, but I'm not hearing any reasons why I should not kill you. Persuade me.
I mean, they're just like, I guess we're gonna die. We've done what we came here to do.
See, my first thought was, I mean, you don't also have a reason to kill us. Like, your brother is not dead.
And she's just like, you're trespassing. You have stolen from his safe. You have injured him. He is my family. Why should I not retaliate?
I'm not trespassing. I have a guest pass, excuse you. I did not steal from a safe. I have taken what was rightfully ours. And in terms of the injury, he attacked us first, and I don't know what you want me to say about that.
I mean, he stole from us. I'm guessing he stole from you too.
Ooh.
Both of you make me persuasion rolls. So tears.
I'm just imagining being like, yeah, he stole the older sibling title because he was born before me.
I got a failure.
I did too.
No!
Ooh,
This is
you
Zad's plan all
both
along.
failed. She looked like she may have been listening for a second, and she's just like, yeah, he owes me money, so that's a likely excuse, but I don't believe you. You're just thieves. And with that,
Nick
she
pulls out
takes a...
his business. Okay.
Oh, do you want to try a persuasion roll?
Yeah, I was gonna say Nix pulls out his business card and is just like, I am a defense attorney, you can feel free to try and, hurt us, but like, you will be facing like me or like a different vampire lawyer in court. I mean, this is being recorded. There's evidence.
Give me a persuasion roll. She takes a
That
look
is a
at
failure,
the business.
but wait, no, actually, I'm a lawyer. I can use my lawyer skill. Can I? Actually,
I was gonna say this is very much the if you or a loved one has been injured on the job, you may be entitled to financial compensation, huh?
I did get one success.
Yeah.
Okay. So it looked like she was ready to attack, but you flash your business card. You're a vampire lawyer. She recognizes the name. And this was all being filmed, and you wouldn't be a part of anything that's illegal or unwarranted. So she's now considering her options very carefully. And she takes your business card, just says, "Get out, and you will be hearing from my lawyer. If there's anything untoward here, I will be taking it back from you, both coin and flesh."
Of course.
In the meantime, it looks like my brother has shown that he has absolutely no capabilities of running this library smoothly, so I will be taking over.
Just gonna, like, take out a bandage from the bag and, like, slap it on his forehead and be like, he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Yeah, it's like she looks down at her brother and is just like, well, I guess someone in the future might do a better job. And just kind of like shrugs and takes her seat behind the desk. Doesn't even move her brother's body.
Wow.
Just leaves him unconscious on the floor and is just like, well, let's see if he can impress me with the time it takes for him to get back on his feet. I doubt it. But he could surprise me one of these days.
I just saw what Jazz put. I support women's wrongs.
Yeah, I want a library card. This is great.
It's going to go to the library. Is this it?
It's like she raises an eyebrow and is just saying, if you want a repeat pass, ask Mina on your way out.
Mina!
Yeah.
No!
Come on, Mina! Give me the pass!
And with that, you are free to go. You have successfully taken the money that you were owed from Dracula. And it looks like things will be looking up for both the library and its workers in the future. Because it looks like the new Dracula is open to negotiations for unions.
She's not a union buster. Diversity win.
Diversity win. The woman taking over your company is bloodthirsty but approves of the union.
Yes.
Oh, that's a great gift, Jess. Thank you.
Well, if anyone wants, I'm gonna head back to the Greasy Spoon and I can make up some milkshakes for us all because we've earned it and it's late.
Yeah, that sounds good. Do you think your coworker will have come in by now, or do you think he's just kind of not coming in?
I don't know, we'll find out. Ooh, we can see if I'm fired too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah!
Nice.
The Greasy Spoon is miraculously still open.
Then maybe it's actually a good place to work, you never know.
Yeah, and if it's
I'll take one of those. I'll take one of those union cards. We'll see.
Well, back at the Greasy Spoon, you have a victory shake toast. And it turns out, since you were while not recommended, you were retrieving funds from a customer that skipped out. They did decide to just write you up, but in the future, you need to have these things approved by a manager before you go and try and demand money from a customer.
Fine.
Can I get permission to go smack an old man?
Hey, this is the greasy
Oh,
spoon,
no,
okay?
like,
They do things
the
a little
greasy
bit differently.
I was gonna say, yeah, if this is like a Waffle House comparison, yeah, I guess they do.
That's true. But like, I love this because it implies that if, you know, Sarah had gotten permission first, and, you know, they were like, oh, you know, you don't have permission to be here, you're trespassing, that's like even more permission to be there.
My manager said I could.
I just love the idea that she could have gotten a bonus for going on a mission like this if she had consulted her manager.
Yeah.
Well,
Listen, she gets paid a bit of a wage. It happens.
live and learn.
You know what? Vampire law is one of those things, and sometimes you can take advantage of it.
Yeah. Vampire law really is just kind of a mess. And, you know, if you're smart, you can take, you know, use some old loopholes that, like, no one has ever considered fixing, so if you know your law, you know a lot.
Yep.
All right. So, with that, you have all been successful, and Dracula has definitely been smacked down a peg or two, and you got your money back. Let's end off with telling us who you are and where we can find you. Let's start with Ink.
Hi, my name is Ink. You can find me on Twitter, where I am a writer. I was gonna say artist and illustrator, and I'm like, those are the same fucking thing. And I have art and things on the internet. You can find me on Twitter at These Depends, where I meme and scream, as Nightbot has helpfully informed you. I've recently been screaming about the fact that, you know, AI art kind of bad. Who would have thought? Hot take. Also, Wizards of the Coast also bad. Who would have guessed? Nah, me! So you can follow me there, and thank you for watching me get down as Dawn tonight. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah!
And next, Christina, who are you? Where can we find you?
Hi, Christina. I had a great time reliving my teenage years as a fast food employee who unfortunately did not get to smack any customers. But I live vicariously through Sarah. You can find me over on Twitter at D20xtina. I'm a writer, role player, GM. Let's yell about games.
Yay!
All right, Draz, who are you? Where can we find you?
Hello, I am Draz. You can find me on Twitter at Drazillion, and if Twitter finally breaks down, then you can find me at co-host at Drazillion instead. I do a lot of game design, a lot of writing, and currently I'm working on a bunch of stuff for my Itch.io page, which is Drazillion.itch.io, where I'm going to be finishing making a text game that I started 2 years ago for an upcoming anti-Hogwarts bundle, and also I'm thinking about making a thirsty sword lesbian playbook, and that's not going to become relevant at all. So yeah, keep an eye on my Itch.io for stuff from me.
Yes. Zan, who are you?
Hi, I'm Zan, also known as Pale Rabbit on Twitter and Instagram, and I am also an illustrator. I have done illustrations in things like the Uncaged anthology and the Book of Seasons, which actually has 2 books. So go check those out. They have wonderful seasonal adventures, and it's one of my favorite things that Jess has gotten me in on doing art for. So I also have an online store where I sell prints of my art and things.
Some of it may or may not be related to this show.
Some of it may or may not be related to this show. And so tonight was Dracula Owes You Money. I think it was very fun. And it has more mechanics than we showed here. We'll discuss that behind the scenes. But
Too successful.
Yes.
We'll see you next week, where we will be playing... What was it? Lesbian Werewolf Crime Fighters. I always tend to forget the order of those names because those are all amazing things. So I will be GMing again, and our players will be playing characters that are trying to balance their lives of being lesbians, werewolves, and crime fighters all at once. Because, sometimes you just have too much on your plate, but you have to juggle.
Yes.
Anyway, we're going to shoot our behind the scenes video, and we are going to say goodbye for now, and we'll see you next week. Are we rating?
Yes.
Someone?
Jess said we are rating friends who roll dice.
Perfect.
So that's who we're good. So go check them out.
And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Have a great time, whatever time is.